Hello, hi. Right, I think we can make a start, and hopefully people join us with sort of doing the housekeeping. So I'm Charlotte Leaf. You should have received the invitations in my name. I'm from the membership team, and with Chloe Tan over in China, we helped organise today's event. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Really appreciate you taking the time to hear about our CBBC membership and the journey we hope to take you on. So today also, apart from myself and Chloe, you will be joined by Adrian Commander, who's our Executive Director, and also Kathy Liu, who's our Assistant Director in Membership, who will be listening in and helping out when we get to the Q&A session as well. So as I say, just a little bit of housekeeping starting. Hopefully you are all familiar with Zoom, considering we've all been in lockdown in different stages so far, but I have created a slide just to sort of help you navigate the
2 seconds. I'm on.
And unmuting.
I'm on.
So as you can see, we've got the chat box. So if anything is urgent you want to say to us, please do use that if someone is talking, because obviously you want to make sure everyone can be heard clearly and have the time to talk. And there's various views you can use to view the screen or view the person talking. Hopefully you can all see that now on your screen. So I think we've got everyone here now from what I can see on my list. That's perfect. So yeah, I'll kick off. As I say, if we go to the agenda first of all, please. So as I say, we'll start off the morning with a couple of opening remarks from Adrian. Very lucky to have him here. And also, as you know, with our invitations, we're incredibly privileged to have Nina from the University of Birmingham to share her journey as a CBBC member and how University of Birmingham has utilised membership with us. And then, of course, we'll be hearing from yourselves. I'm very grateful for your slides we've received to hear about your company and your vision of CBBC membership. And last of all, we'll be rounding off the session with an interactive discussion, not quite a strict Q&A, but, you know, if you want to speak to us or speak to each other, ask me any questions about things she said, we're more than happy to do that. So happy to introduce Adrian Commander for some opening remarks. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you, Charlotte. I trust everybody can hear me. So first of all, good morning and good afternoon to those. Good morning to those in the UK and good afternoon to those in China. I'm delighted to say a few words in this new member welcome event. The beauty of doing these things digitally is that we can more easily connect our UK and China members, which is the whole purpose around our membership program. Just to say, I mean, the one thing that I would like to say in terms of the purpose of this session is to help you on board. I'm delighted that you've all decided to join the China-Britain Business Council. As the UK's national business network for promoting and supporting trade and investment with China, you are in the right place for the support you need to seize the China opportunity. CBBC membership, on the one hand, provides you with access. You will have access to our support teams in both China and the UK. We cover all the main sectors, all the main business sectors. And if there's one tip I would like you to take away from this particular session, if you haven't already done so, I strongly advise that you set up a meeting with your relationship manager to really outline your business objectives for China and to really explain the things that you want to get out of the relationship with ourselves. We have an extensive business network and an office network in China. We have very knowledgeable people within the UK. We have supported thousands of businesses from the most dynamic SMEs to our fantastic universities to global renowned brands that you can see in this list of logos, do successful business with China. We can help you plan, prepare, and grow. That is what we're here to do. I should also, I mean, I can't, I should also say something around the announcements that have happened earlier this week around the decision, the UK government's decision to exclude Huawei from building the UK's 5G network. Our chief executive, Matthew Roos, came out with a strong statement to the membership, explaining that we were disappointed by that decision. And the other message that I really want to communicate to you all is that CBBC will remain a steadfast advocate of the UK's economic ties with China. We have done this for over 65 years now, and we will continue to have constructive dialogue to ensure constructive dialogue between the UK and China. All our events are delivered digitally by default. So by being members of CBBC, you will have access to a very comprehensive webinar program across the UK and China. So please keep an eye on the variety of member mailings that come out. I'm sure there will be something of interest. When we return back to normal, we also arrange round tables, we arrange sector forums, we arrange VIP visits. So there's a lot of networking. There are certainly a lot of networking opportunities when we return back to normal. But at the moment, we do this in a virtual way. Most of these webinars also get recorded, so we have there's also often access to the various recordings. That's really all I want to say at this stage. Hereby, I'm delighted to introduce you to Nina Morris, China Institute Officer at the University of Birmingham. The University of Birmingham have been a long-standing member of CBBC. They've also used a range of services of ours, including our launchpad services, our launchpad service in China. Nina, over to you.
That's great. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to share my screen now because I've got a slide that I'll talk through. So I'll just, I've got a couple of screens going, so hopefully this will run smoothly. Okay, so can everyone see my PowerPoint screen? Yeah. Charlotte, is that okay? So you can see the PowerPoint, and perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, thank you so much, Adrian, and thank you to the CBBC for inviting me to share my experience. I gather that we've got a range of different representatives from different countries across a range of different industries as well. So not all of you obviously are from higher education institutions. So hopefully my talk will still have some areas of relevance, even if you're not actually from this sector. So I'm going to start by giving a very brief introduction to myself and what we do in the China Institute. So the China Institute at the University of Birmingham exists to promote links between the UK and China, to facilitate collaboration in education, research and business development. And we also play a pivotal role in driving our strategic approach in China. I've got a central role within the Institute, and my role is to manage all of those activities, as well as connecting the relevant academic experts within our university to opportunity, both internally and externally. And As CBBC, we have found the CBBC incredibly helpful in linking into those opportunities and ensuring that we're kept informed of all the in-market developments that intersect with the work that we do. So I'm going to talk briefly on a number of different ways that CBBC membership has supported the work that we do in China. So I've organised my thoughts around a few areas, starting firstly with what does CBBC membership mean to the University of Birmingham. I think for me personally, it's incredibly useful to have a link into the business sector in China, which really does interact with so much of the work that we do from an HE perspective. Given that our, we're a Russell Group university, we are a really comprehensive university and cover a range of different areas, including education, but also research and business development, including that connection into industry in China. So it's really crucial for us that we are up to date on the current issues and trends within the business sector and the political landscape. And obviously Adrian referenced that in his introduction as well. And I found that the CBBC has been really useful in terms of providing timely information on a range of relevant developments, which it does two things really. It not only helps us to affirm that our approach is the right one, but it also highlights to us opportunities that we may not have been aware of or had access to were we not members of the CBBC. So recently, obviously, there's been a really extensive webinar program that I think all companies are doing, but certainly the CBBC has had a really extensive range, including some really useful ones that have been organised recently on things around healthcare, the digital economy, and the regulatory implications of that as well. So we've been able to get a number of our academic members of staff who are involved in those sectors to go along to those webinars, which I think has been incredibly helpful. I think one benefit of the CBBC membership as well is that one membership extends across our whole institution. So it does mean that it doesn't need to be just one person going to each webinar. You can get the right person to attend depending on their expertise. And again, calling back to something that was said in the introduction, it's been really useful for us to have our designated market business advisor in the form of Tom Claiborne. He's the education business advisor. He's always really easy to get in touch with, and it's great to have somebody that you can contact quite quickly if you've got a quick question or just want to bounce some ideas off. So I'd also echo that recommendation to get in touch with your representative at an early point. Just to touch on now, one of the highlights, particularly around when we were getting started in the work that we do in China and linking into the CBBC. As we mentioned earlier, we've been a long-standing member, certainly over 10 years. And one of the early ways that the CBBC was really helpful to the University of Birmingham in a practical sense was through the Launchpad service that was mentioned earlier. And what that means is that we had a member of staff who was based out in Shanghai supporting our international student recruitment. And so she was able to be hosted via the Launchpad service that the CBBC run, which enabled her to be based in an office with a network of other UK higher education representatives in China, which allowed them to share resources, market intelligence, in order to support the UK education sector in China across the piece. CBBC supported that not only in actually hosting the offices, but also arranging regular meetings between the Launchpad colleagues to allow for that networking, but also with industries such as UK Trade and Investment and the British Council. So it was really useful for our operations in China to have that base, but also useful for our representative out there to feel supported and part of a wider network as well. And we've subsequently opened an office in Guangzhou. So we have, a separate presence in China now directly through the University of Birmingham. But I think having that initial support and setup from the CBBC was really vital in shaping our presence and approach in China. So just to pick up now on some of the key areas of value, which hopefully would also be valuable to other businesses as well. I think one of the most useful services which the CBBC provides is the opportunity to network with peers from other HE institutions and also relevant industry professionals such as legal services and financial areas as well. The CBBC, well, when we were all able to meet in the same place, we're running a regular HE forum, which was based down in London. That's now obviously moved online, so they've continued that networking aspect as well, which has really given us the opportunity to share best practice and discuss some of the common challenges and opportunities that we might be experiencing with others who are in a similar position, but in a really safe and confidential space. So, you know, you feel like you can be really honest about some of the challenges that you might be having and seeing how others have managed to tackle those issues as well. Aside from the Higher Education Forum, the CBBC also runs a series of really useful events. Also, just to highlight the recent UK-China Business Week that was run by the CBBC, and I was able to highlight that to one of my colleagues based in the Careers Network, who found it a really useful session. The central role that I have means I'm really well placed to link up across our university to all of our colleagues in relevant different areas to suggest useful events for them to attend. So whether those are careers, whether it's perhaps more around transnational education or maybe more around the finance or business development side of things. So although I'm the contact person for the CBBC, I'm not always the most appropriate person to go to these events, because it's far more useful to us to have, you know, the expert to go who can contribute in a meaningful way. And the CBBC makes it really easy for anyone across our institution to join. You know, from a technical perspective, there are no you know, difficult portals that you have to log into or anything like that, which can make a real difference when you're trying to get people across the institution engaged. So I think that's been really useful to us. Just finally, conscious that we've got a lot to get through today, a couple of hints and tips for me that I've found useful when operating in China. From an operational perspective, I think understanding the legal landscape and regulatory framework, particularly around transnational education, has been really helpful. We've recently, well, within the last few years, launched a joint education institute within China. So we're now obviously very familiar with the challenges and opportunities around this kind of enterprise. However, for somebody who is new to this, particularly, I know we've got some university members here today, if that's something you're thinking of developing within your university, then the CBBC can provide a really good source of insight and information around that. We get regular legal and tax updates from Pinsent Mason, and obviously we have the regular country policy updates from Torsten Weller, and you know, obviously the last week we've seen quite a few of those. So it's particularly useful to get a sense of the reaction to recent political decisions as well, and think about what implications that might have for us as well. And I think if you want to operate in China, as with any country really, understanding the regulatory framework is essential. So the forums working with the CBBC allow us to not only have that expert insight, but also to discuss what that means in practice with other peers, and just kind of see if others have been in similar situations and how they've responded and how they've applied those frameworks in practice as well. Okay, so that was just a quick whistle-stop tour of my experiences with the CBBC. Hope that's been useful, and I'll be sticking around for the whole session today, so I'm really happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Wonderful, thanks so much, Nina. So yes, we'll make a start with your presentation. So we are going to be doing this alphabetically, but Huamei Group does have to leave for another commitment, a diary clash. So if we can please start off with Huamei Group, that'd be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll share my screen first. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. And we are from Huamei Group. Can everyone see my PowerPoint? from your screens?
Yep, thank you.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. And hear me well? Yeah. If you all hear me well, I can start my introduction to my group. My name is William Zhang. I'm Vice President of the Education Group of Huamei. Actually, I personally am very familiar with CBBC, and because I worked with CBBC several years ago as a launchpad in Beijing. So yes, so the features and services provided by CBBC are quite familiar to me. And also, I graduated from Birmingham, University of Birmingham, quite a long time ago. I studied laws and finance. So I'm an alumni from Birmingham. So very happy to see people from Birmingham again from the screen. Yes, that is the key structure of our group and the departments and main departments and the major subsidiary of our group. So basically speaking, we are with two core. We've got two core business, two core streams of business. One is the education, where Huamei history starts, and the other one is the investment finance. The investment finance part section of our group is mainly focused on equity investment and the investment in finance market, financial markets, including all kinds of securities out there in the markets. So because the main ideas of our joining in CBBC is from some strategic initiative from our education part. I'm from education group, so today's introduction is basically is more focusing on our education history and the main ideas from education sector in working with CBBC. So yes, this is the some words, some sentences, introductory sentences about Huamei International Education Group. So our history is back from 1993 when we founded our first internationalized private K-12 school in China. Actually, we are one of the first group of private schools, private K-12 schools in China. In 1993, we founded Guangzhou Huamei International Schools in Guangzhou, Guangdong Province. And in 2002, we found our second flagship schools in Tianjin. Is called Tianjin Yinghua International School, and also so that's to say that our main businesses, main part we are focusing in education is the K-12 school business. And this is the very brief history of our education roots. As I say, the Huamei International School in Guangzhou is founded in 1993, and the Yinghua International School in Tianjin was founded in 2003. The total enrollment of these two schools is more than 8,000 students are studying in these two schools. And also in 2016, we work with Open University of Guangdong Province and founded a higher education institution, Huamei Foreign Language College. Huamei Foreign Language College is mainly focusing on the diploma and degree level learning and teaching by online in online basis. So we provide degrees in English teaching and English language major to students from the province through online basis. And 2018, we founded another campus for Inhua International School in Tianjin. So the enrollment in Dongli Province, the new campus of Inhua International School, has amounted to more than 1,000 now. So after 27 years of development in education, our group is now trying to develop our group in a even higher and deeper level. One side of our new development is trying to create a kind of so-called ecosphere of internationalized education in China. Besides international schools we have right now, we through self-development or merger and acquisition, we founded the more streams of education related, serving our international school and also being able to provide services by themselves to the out there market. Those streams of business including STEAM education, higher education, which is being provided by our foreign language college right now, camp education, English training, and also some logistics supporting services, including school building decoration services for international school, online education, immigration, and studying abroad services. Those streams of businesses are all being provided by our educational subsidiary companies or our internal departments. Yes, those are also the a map of our supporting services with a school businesses as a core. The names of the business streams of businesses, as well as the subsidiary company or subsidiary institutions owned by our groups are outlined here. Another lines of our further development or strategic development at this stage is to try to export our brands, our system of experiences or education expertise to more campuses in China. So we're trying to develop more school opportunities across China to, as I say, to export Huamei brand, export Huamei expertise, as well as the standardized Huamei curriculum and the operational systems. So we are for a very rough expectation, we are aimed to open another 3 to 5 schools in 10 years in China, especially in some strategic areas in our mind. Those strategic areas including the Great Bay Area. I think you guys may know very well the Guangdong Province, including Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and also the Beijing-Tianjin Hebei Economic Circle, and also some first-tier and key cities in the provinces across China. that is also the main major aim of our decision to join CBBC family. We in our steps to work further towards more campuses development. We wish to look for and work with one particular top UK independent school as a strategic partner to hand in hand to develop and to operate our future campuses developed new. That is a very rough business proposals in looking for and locking a top UK independent school as a partner in the very recent months. Actually, we have been in touch with the education team of CBBC in China, as well as rep from the team in the UK now, and I've had several conversations already where we are being on the process of working together towards looking for and discussing with some of the top UK independent schools about our proposal right now. Yes, the latest slides is mainly about our investment part of our group. Those are some main sectors we're looking at for equity investment. Based on the CBBC connection and the partnership with us, we are very happy to look at some opportunities from the UK to work in investment section. Even probably if some very good investment opportunities back in the UK, we are very interested to join in the future discussion. Okay. That is the contact information of our group. Our headquarters is in Guangzhou province, and we've got subsidiary companies in Tianjin, as well as in Huamei in Neimen province. Okay, that is all from me. I don't know whether
That's great. Thank you so much, William. That's great. And
sorry about the
very
time.
interesting to hear. No, that's fine. Thank you so much. It's great to hear on the first case as a former international student about all what you're doing and your connection to Nina, which is a very happy coincidence with the university. So that worked out very well.
I missed them very much. Yeah, I saw the.
Thank you for that really comprehensive and great background. So if we could please move on to Free Money. I believe we've got someone on the line to take over. If we get the screen back up, please.
Sure. Sorry.
No,
I'll
thank
try
you.
to stop the sharing.
That's great. We've got it back now. Thank you very much.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. By the way, I do need to be apologized for leaving right now because I've got another commitment to do.
Oh, great.
So I'm very happy to talk to you guys and keep contact.
Thank you. Great. Okay.
Hi everyone, thanks very much for introducing me. My name is Garode and I represent 3S Money, which is a neobank that really tries to focus on developing UK-China trade from both directions. The basic rundown of our business is that we believe for many SMEs and mid-sized corporates or people who work in asset management in the financial world, the current banking setup is too difficult, too expensive, and it takes too long to actually send money back and forth. So what we've done is develop a banking platform that it's an invitation-only model, and once you're in the bank itself, you'll find that you're able to, for example, pay Chinese suppliers in your supply chain far faster, use lower FX fees, carry out transactions in over 30 currencies in near real time. And the main reason we joined the CBBC is that we think we have a great product that would help a lot of British firms going to China and a lot of Chinese firms coming to Europe. And we'd really like some help in developing our networks and learning to speak to the right people in order to get our product out in the market. The main thing that we actually do is, as an invitation-only network, we don't go direct to our business consumers. We actually work through a network of specialist advisors. So this would be lawyers and accountants and tax professionals who would already have a relationship with these businesses and could advise them saying, you know, we recognize you're having certain issues as a business with your FX costs, or that, you know, whenever you try and carry out certain transactions, Barclays is freezing the transaction for 3 weeks. If you go and have a talk with 3S Money, we think they'll be able to improve your business, cut your costs, and speed up your payment processing times. Yeah, so the main thing we would really love to get out of our time in the next month or two with CBBC, excuse me, is that if anyone happens to know people on the ground in China in the, you know, specialist advisory sections of, you know, lawyers, tax people, accountants, we'd love to make contact with them. And if anyone here happens to know businesses who are either Chinese firms looking to establish in the West or Western firms establish in China, the main services we offer is that we can help any business get set up with multi-jurisdiction banking. So if they want a local UK account and a local EU bank account, we can set that up for them very easily. And we can guarantee that the FX rates they pay when they're changing from RMB to pounds or RMB to euro will be better than what they find on the market. And, you know, while I don't have slides as terrifically laid out as Huamei, that is basically the bulk of my presentation. We're new to the CBBC and we hope to speaking to everyone more as time goes on.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that, and that's great to hear sort of what you've been doing and who you're supporting and who you're looking to support going forward. No, appreciate you sharing that with us. That was wonderfully concise. So if we could please move on to, have we got Beyond Steel on the line, please? I believe we've got Ryan, I think, still.
Yes, you do. Hello. Can I share my own screen?
We've got your slide up. Can you see it, or have you got anything?
Can I put a different slide up?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure.
Let me just, it's a little bit more concise. What can you see? Can you see my own
introduction? Yeah.
Fine. Hello. Hi, everyone. My name's Ryan Smith. Next to me is Chris Taylor. We last year started a small company called Beyond Steel. We're basically a composites company trying to continue our journey into lightweighting, mass reduction in automotive structures. China is a nice market with a need. So the market need is very important. There's no use doing something if nobody needs your service or product. Over time, the mass of cars in this instance has increased. Safety systems, infotainment, and that has driven the mass up tremendously. With emissions and climate change being a massive political and economic and social issue right now, everyone's trying to make battery electric vehicles. The problem with these vehicles is they're so heavy that they're a difficult sell. The range is low and the cost of the battery cells is currently very high for the number used to make the vehicle useful. One of the other areas is that China imports a lot of its energy in the form of oil to turn into petrol and diesel, and intends to be more self-sufficient. One way to do that is not to use oil, use natural resources such as sunlight. Customers currently have a choice of, there's great choice in cars. And the problem with battery electric vehicles, as I said earlier, is because the range is so low, they're a difficult sell. if we can take a lot of weight out, you start to gain control over your powertrain. So you can use less battery to bring the cost down, or you can extend the range using the battery that's already there, which is what starts to compete with petrol and diesel equivalents. We've done most of our work in car structures, SUVs, which are very popular, but the technology we've developed is applicable to buses, coaches, lorries, and other transportation vehicles. So we were founded last year, 16 years of experience in automotive composite, lightweight, or mass reduction. Lightweight's a difficult word in China, and we found the hard way. It doesn't translate very well. One of the ways we do this differently to others is we found a way to use a very small amount of composite material, which is quite an expensive material. And we can minimize the process waste tremendously. Throwing lots of carbon fiber in the bin is very expensive. I've said earlier that the technology is applicable to buses, coaches, last mile delivery, scooters, rickshaws, for example, the Indian market. But these structures are these vehicles are starting to become applicable in countries like China. Our service is basically, we're a consultant at this stage. We specialize in structural design, simulation, validation, testing, prototype design, and build. Basically, how we want to work with Chinese customers, investors, and interested parties is we work throughout the whole vehicle development process, the research, development, design, the technologies involved, testing. We have a very good network of supply chain globally. We do all the prototyping and validation work. A production partner, which could be a tier 1 or an OEM in China, would support that, and the end customer builds the products. That the tier 1 could build the product. We don't build anything, just prototypes, and we license the technology, so a royalty fee is applicable. I'll finish off with just a quick example of a vehicle we did for a Chinese customer a few years ago. In the lead up to the company forming, you see on the bottom right, there's a lightweight coefficient. I won't go into it, but it's a coefficient, and for example, BMWs win awards for their outstanding body structures. Their best is 2.6. The example we'd produced had a lightweight coefficient of 0.9. I mean, we're so far below the competition. Engineers who deal with this find it hard to believe. The example on the left, those figures are best in class by such a long way. No one's even close to competing. So we think we have a good product. We're currently working with a new startup vehicle company in Greater China, not mainland China, who's seen the benefits and is working with us and a few other suppliers globally to take his product to market. Contact details, we have an office at Silverstone in the United Kingdom, and we're in a month's time moving into a second facility to expand our capability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and it's great to see you've also got a lot of exciting things in the pipeline, so hopefully we can sort of go on that journey together. Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be great.
Hoping we've got someone, either David or Tony from Be Secure, please. Not sure if we do. Let's have a look on the list.
We're no longer sharing. That's cool.
They might have dropped out. If not, we'll come back to them. If you want to go to Tom from Delphic HSC, if he's still on the line, please. We'll come back to Be Secure. They may have just dropped temporarily.
Sure, yeah. Hi, Charlotte, this is Tom. Can you hear me?
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
Great, excellent, thank you. And just before I begin, a thank you to you personally, Charlotte. I know sometimes it's quite difficult to put these things together, and you've done a wonderful job, so thank you for that. Thank you to Adrian, thank you for your opening. It's nice to meet you. And also thank you for Nina. I found your presentation excellent. It was good. We are as Delphic, we are new to this membership and looking forward to taking advantage of all of these benefits. So to hear from a current member, I find very valuable. So I don't have a presentation to deliver. I would not even do that to you guys because me and technology just doesn't mix. So you'll have to put up with me for a few minutes just talking. So my name's Tom Garner. I'm the Managing Director for Delphic HSE. As an organisation, we specialise in providing regulatory and safety reviews and services to a range of industries. Those industries include cosmetics, toys, household and biocides. We've been operating for just over 10 years. We are not a laboratory. Most of what we do is desk-based research, but we've been operating for about 10 years. We've grown considerably over the last 10 years. On average, it's probably about 30 to 40% each year, which is great. We're in this sort of place at the minute as an organization where we're moving away from a consultancy structure to a more of an SME type structure, both in terms of headcount and the financials behind that, profit and turnover and so on. So we're in a state of transition, and part of that transition is around geographical expansion, because the services we provide are in quite a lot of demand in many industries when you consider the regulations that surround consumer products. So we have offices in the UK, Netherlands, and Hong Kong. We are weeks away from finally having our office registered in Shanghai, and we also this week will be confirming our office in Melbourne. In terms of I'll come back to Shanghai in a second and what we plan to do, but in terms of the way the company is structured, it's best to think about us in sort of three pools of people. We have your standard management and administration, those guys that keep the company running. Then we have a split of around 50 experts, full-time experts in two groups. One group being regulatory advisors, those people that can look at labels and claims and packaging and product registrations, the things getting lipstick to market, getting candles to market all over the world. So a group of regulatory advisors. And then the third group is a group of scientists, chemists and toxicologists. These are the people that would look at the ingredients, the exposure scenarios, the way those ingredients mix in a final formulation, and confirm whether that product is safe or not. And if it's not safe, making the client aware of what adjustments need to be made, or if certain warnings need to be made and made available or to be added to the packaging of the product. So it's sort of three groups that form who we are. We've grown organically. What I mean by that is really by standard supply and demand. We're reasonable at marketing. We do it. We commercially we're pretty good, but most of the growth has been through our reputation and the ability to interpret regulation and apply it to the clients. We work with all parts of the supply chain, so everything from manufacturers, contract manufacturers, to retailers, e-commerce, distributors, and we work with some of the biggest brands, particularly in the cosmetic field, some of the biggest brands that we all know and love. But it's that reason why we're putting an office in Shanghai. Some of you may know or not know that recently the Chinese authorities have made an announcement that they're changing the cosmetic regulation, and it's quite a big change. Effectively, in summary, it's now recognizing non-animal test methods as a form of safety. And that means that some of those big companies we're working with, some of the global brands, would like to use Delphic to help bring those products into the market in a safe and compliant way to ensure that the authorities in China are happy with those products on the market. And we are helping in that regards. So as a result of that regulatory change, we see that as a huge opportunity for us, and hence why we are adding resource into China, more specifically Shanghai, really looking forward to registering that office. In terms of what we hope to achieve with CBBC is we're novice, we're not experts in China. We have a big office in Hong Kong with a lot of staff, but in terms of operating legally and efficiently in China, we want to learn as much as we can from the members and the advisors that are available to us within the membership. Our experiences so far with CBBC has been fantastic. We've joined some webinars. It's really helping us to understand some of the things that we otherwise would not understand, accountancy and all that type of stuff. So with that, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. You have my contact details there. I look forward to learning more and more with the membership team. And that's it. Thank you for your time, Charlotte.
Thank you very much. That was great. It's really interesting to hear, as I say, with the recent changes, how you're sort of adapting and addressing those changes. So no, thank you very much for going through that. I believe we've got Jason Donnelly from Fine Cheese Company. Sorry, please, if we can get his slide up. Oh, sorry.
It will be Diane's turn.
Oh yes, of course. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah. Hi, Diane. The floor is yours.
Hi, hi everyone. This is Diane from Dun & Bradstreet. I'm leading China marketing for Dun & Bradstreet China. So firstly, thanks CBBC China for giving us this opportunity to introduce our company to other members on the platform. So Dun & Bradstreet is a very old company, having nearly 180 years history. Originated from US, but recently we have our international market headquarters located in London, UK. So I think I've been connected by our international chief marketing officer, and he has also contact with CBBC in London before. So that actually before we joined China CBBC membership, we already have some connections and also co-hosted a webinar with CBBC. So that was really great. So talking about our company, over the past 180 years, we have accumulated a very large commercial database containing more than 360 million business records, which enables us to provide data and analytics and predictive insights to our clients around the globe for them to use in growing their business, mitigating their risks, and also to transform their business from traditional to digital. So I think it might be difficult for you to understand what we offer. So I would just put it in a simple way, that what products we offer to our clients. So leveraging our global database and also the insights based on that. So we have like business information report and also some SaaS platform software helping you to check your counterparties. For example, if you're a company, no matter you're based in UK or in China, that you're uncertain about your counterparties' background or their financial stability, their ability to pay your money, so that you can come to Dun & Bradstreet for a chat. So we will provide you like a credit report, and also, depends on your request, we can offer you also like data packets and also integration to your own system, helping you to evaluate the risk. So on the other hand, using this big database, we are also able to provide prospecting services. For example, if you want to have a contact list of China businesses, or you want to have a prospecting list, which is a lookalike of your existing customers, we can also do that. So, and also we have some like advertising solutions helping the marketers to target their B2B customers more precisely in advertising. So in short, so one hand, we provide solutions helping to mitigate risk, which is in the risk management space. And the other hand is the sales marketing solutions, helping salespeople or marketers to find their customers and more precisely. So we entered into China like 20 years ago with an approach of joint venture. So that's why we have like, you can see that on the slide, we have a lot of logos. Those are the logos of our two joint venture partners. So now we have like two entities. One is called Huaxia Dun & Bradstreet, and the other one is Micro Marketing Dun & Bradstreet. So they respectively focus on risk and the sales and marketing respectively. So I think in terms of what we are looking for the business connections partnerships through CBBC platform. So I think there are like two aspects. So one is, of course, we would like to say if there are any members on CBBC platform having a need for our products, because I think we are really helping companies doing cross-border trading or commerce in terms of evaluating your customers' third parties risk, and also help you to find more customers in cross-border trading. And the other pillar is to look for partners. We are actually very open-minded in building an eco partner system, so that we actively look for like companies in data and technology, professional services, consulting services, and also maybe marketing agencies can distribute our standard products. So we welcome any discussions in terms of any type of collaboration. And the third part is actually from marketing perspective. So because I'm in charge of marketing, so I welcome any discussions in terms of holding a webinar or an event, as long as we share the same target audiences. So I think we had one like before with Google and also CBBC in China already back to April, I think. So it was a successful event. So I'm looking forward to have more similar events in the future. So that's all from my introduction. And here's my email and WeChat. So feel free to catch up. Thank you. Back to Charlotte.
Thank you very much, Diane. That was great to hear, and appreciate you taking the time, and it's interesting to see what you're doing. And I think we've already seen a couple of companies you may find common ground with, and hopefully take their details afterwards and have those further discussions. Yeah, so I'd be happy to pass over to Jason from Fine Cheese Company now, please. Thank you so much. Have we still got Jason on the line?
Sorry about that. Good morning. Thanks for having me. Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Jason Donnelly. I'm from the Fine Cheese Company / Artisan Biscuits. We are a company that produces crackers and biscuits in the Eastern Midlands in Ashbourne. We also are based in Bath, where we export artisan cheeses all around the world. So we have had the bakery, we've owned it for about 10 years, and it's been around since the early 1900s. We bake everything by hand still. We have basically created lines of crackers and biscuits that we would want to eat with cheese, since we are cheese at our core. And the first line that we created was the Fine Cheese Company flavored crackers, which the late owner of the Fine Cheese Company, Anne Marie Dias, created because she did not want to use or sell flavored cheeses. So she came up with the idea to flavor the crackers to eat with the cheese. So the line is based of inclusions of rosemary or chive or fig and honey, different flavorings to go with cheese. And that kind of just spawned out into different ideas and products. So we produce about 120 different ranges of products, and we export those to around 60 countries around the world. China being one of those markets that we have dabbled in, but we haven't fully immersed ourselves into the market. we work with a distributor in Hong Kong that also has a company in China that sends our products there, but we are looking to work with the CBC to expand our reach in China and our relationships with distributors so that we could become a little bit more widely distributed, to work with larger retailers and specialty shops that are popping up around the major cities in China is our goal. We want to be able to protect ourselves. So the CBBC has been great with introducing us into the law side of trading in China. It is a very complicated process to get our cheeses registered, get our products registered, our name registered, so that there's a form of protection, a layer of protection. So that is really the first thing that we've done as members for the past 4 months or so with the CBBC. And now we have started to finish that process and look for the distributing arm of our goal. And yeah, it's just it's great to have this resource to be able to go to and lean on. And it's been, so far in the past 4 to 6 months that we've been a part of it, it's been really amazing and helped us move forward faster than we've done in the past couple of years. So it's any questions, comments? I have a slideshow, but I figured that is not necessarily needed. So I hope anybody.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jason. I mean, we will be having sort of questions at the end, and there's a lot. I mean, everyone said a huge amount of interesting things. So if anyone's sort of got any questions at the end, you know, we are allowing time for that at the end of the session. But obviously, I'm just conscious of time to make sure every member's had a chance to speak. So thank you very much. If that's you, if we can move on to Patrick, please, if you're still on the line.
I am indeed here to start my video. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. Really interesting presentations so far. Obviously a very diverse range of membership in CBBC, which is exciting to see, and we look forward to learning from the other members as we proceed on this journey. A little bit about Honda. I think everyone knows the brand and knows our products, but I represent Honda Motor Europe, and we sell cars, power equipment, and increasingly now energy services and electric vehicles to customers across the EU and the UK. And we are the leading motorcycle brand here in Europe. Many people think of Honda cars, but actually we're a motorbike company that happens to also make cars. We're a global company, active across the world, and our European operations are perhaps one of the smaller parts of the Honda global family. We've looked to join CBBC because we're going to start seeing an increasing reliance for our European sales on our Chinese manufacturing operations and supply chain. Some of you may have seen the news that was announced about a year ago that we will be closing our UK car factory and become purely an importer of vehicles into the European region. And a large part of that change in our manufacturing footprint will be an increased reliance on the import of electric vehicles from our Chinese factories. Our Chinese manufacturing operations are operating at a much higher volume. The Chinese market, particularly for electric vehicles, is a lot higher. So in the end, it made sense to manufacture those vehicles in China and take advantage of the economies of scale rather than continuing to produce very low volumes in our UK factory. So it was a tough decision for our operation in the UK, but I think the right decision for the business overall, and the right decision to help support our goal of 100% electrified vehicle sales in Europe by 2022. Now, that was a business decision that was made and made sense from a business point of view, but obviously one of the key risks in that is the increasing political and trade friction in the UK-China relationship, I think, particularly with the decision earlier this week, which Adrian referred to in terms of Huawei, but also other barriers and potential risks to the international trading framework. So really what we're trying to get out of our CBBC membership is to have a better understanding of that UK-China dynamic and to try and gain some insight and intelligence to cut through the headlines we read in the newspaper, but to really understand what's happening behind the scenes, what are the future trends, and what are the risks we need to be aware of, and be able to put countermeasures or changes into place in order to protect that flow of vehicles and other products from China into the UK. So really, it's about broadening our network both within the UK side, but also into China, and to develop that understanding and to learn from others who are in a similar place or have started a similar journey, what some of the issues that we might see could be. And I think I'll keep it pretty brief and leave it there. My email is there underneath. So I head up the government affairs side of things for HME, working with political stakeholders in London, Brussels, and increasingly interacting with stakeholders elsewhere in the world. So do get in touch and look forward to meeting people, hopefully in person at some point, and to engaging in some interesting conversations. Thanks.
Thank you. That was brilliant, Patrick. Really appreciate that, and great to hear about what Honda's doing. Just to sort of be conscious of time, if we can swiftly move on to Roger, I believe, still on the line for the Lang.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's perfect.
I have our presentation want to show you.
I'm just conscious of time. Does it sort of cover everything which is on the screen already, or?
I think this one is a picture with more vividly.
Okay.
Just be a quick one. Hello everyone, my name is Roger from Langham, Shanghai Xintiandi Hotel. Our hotel located in Xintiandi, Huamei district. I think everyone in UK have aware of our brand, correct? So have a quick introduction of our hotel. Picture one is our lobby area. So our hotel opened in 2010, and this year is a 10 years anniversary. So we are looking for a partnership. If you want to book a room or stay in Shanghai, our hotel location is a very good choice. You can say walking distance to the K11 Museum, Sinan Mission, Tianzifang, all the must-go area. And our hotel walking distance to French concessions. 20 minutes by car to the Bond area. And you can see from the Xintiandi, like the Oriental Champs-Élysées, are very beautiful area with outdoor space, have a dining, and the picture of our hotel, the standard rooms, deluxe room, 40 square meters. I think most of you guys booking hotels through the Expedia, Agoda, maybe StayTrip. Is that possible? Maybe you can book through the hotel directly. We prefer to give you a very special rate. And our hotel located near around us with many general consultants and chambers, so we have a lot of business with them. This picture is showing our Langham Club and our fun all daily dining restaurant Cache. You can see the very beautiful view through the window. And our afternoon tea signature Langham with use the veg wood. And our Michelin started Cantonese restaurant, very famous and popular. And our signature trans bar. Olympic standardized swimming pool, 25 meters, and technique gym, private coach, 24 hours for the in-house guests. The signature pin car. The hotel front door. So for any executive room and above, people can enjoy the pin car drop-off service 5 kilometers from the hotel. So very convenient to travel around and explore the city. That's all from my side.
Great, thank you very much. That was great to see. I think making us all very envious of our own settings in our own homes. Very beautiful pictures. Thank you. If we could move on, please, to Panuel Parkers. Have we got William Yang on the line, please, still? Can't see his name. We'll move along to the next one, please, in Sense Media. We got Robert on the line, please.
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, morning.
Morning. Hi, so yeah, I'm Robert Stead from Sense Media Group. We are a conference organizer working in the automotive sector. So we're a small business based in Horsham, just kind of halfway between London and the South Coast. And we run, well, this year we were due to run three conferences, one in Detroit in May, one in Brussels in September, which is our flagship event, and we were due to launch a brand new event in Hong Kong in November. Then obviously the pandemic came and kind of put paid to those plans. So we've been adapting the business. For this year, we are running our conferences all online at the moment, but that's actually been quite good in terms of opening up a new audience. We've significantly expanded the number of attendees and our reach, and in particular, we've seen a lot more sign-ups from Asia, not just in China, but from throughout the whole of Asia. So that's been a positive to come out of that situation. A bit more about the conferences. So they're technical B2B conferences, large conference, not a trade show. So around about 450 to 650 people with around 50 exhibitors at each event. They are very technical in nature. So all of the target audience is scientists and engineers that are working on technologies to do with ADAS, which is Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, and in the future, autonomous vehicles. So all the sensors and all of the processing hardware and software that sits behind the sensors that gives vehicles the ability to see the environment and to perceive other road users and objects and then act based on that. So a lot of those technologies are already rolled out in vehicles, in high-end vehicles that you can buy today, and excuse me, and some throughout the whole range of vehicles. So things like automatic emergency braking or adaptive cruise control or lane keeper assist. All of those use the sensor technologies and the kind of processing that our community is involved in developing and researching. In the future, the automotive industry will be incorporating all of those systems into kind of one holistic system, which will result in fully autonomous vehicles. That's quite a few years off yet. So the good news is that there's lots of challenges to solve. That keeps us busy as an organizer because we rely on bringing discussions and presentations about those technical challenges to the market. And it keeps all of the engineers in a job for a good while to come. So why did we join CBBC? So as I mentioned at the beginning, we have two successful conferences that we've built over the last 5 years in Europe and in the US. But there's been a strong demand from our community to host an Asian event. As other presenters have mentioned, the automotive market in China in particular is very strong and has grown a lot recently. But there are other major players throughout the Asian region. So we planned to run our first conference in Hong Kong in November this year. It was due to run at the Science and Technology Centre, Science and Technology Park, north of the city. We've had a lot of support for that, but then unfortunately with the whole kind of, travel lockdown and everything, we've decided to defer that for a further 12 months. But we are still very confident in this. We have some good partners on the ground. But the main reason for working with CBBC is, again, to just help us to understand the market, to enhance relationships. I've been working with some contacts at CBBC to set up a research project so for us to identify our market, and then for CBBC to do a bespoke research project to find some senior level contacts at companies that we're looking to build a relationship with, and then help to make those connections. And my plan is that at some point in the next 12 months or so, then I'll make a trip to China, and hopefully with the support of CBBC and some other UK entities on the ground there, and be able to have some face-to-face meetings and start to build those relationships properly. So yeah, that's what we do, looking to basically make connections with anybody that's involved in automotive technology, but specifically with those ADAS and autonomous vehicle type solutions. That's it from me. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Robert. And yeah, it's great. As you can see, we've already got sort of you're our third sort of automotive connected member on today's session. So you can see, it's an area which a lot of people, and I say there's areas for collaboration, we can pick up on already. So I think it's an exciting time. So I think Patrick mentioned about the headline sometimes dominating what's going on behind the scenes. So it's great to see that, these things are still going on maybe in spite or despite what's going on. So no, thank you very much for that roundup. What we'll do, if we move on to the next slide, and we've just got a couple more slides, we've got about 15 minutes, so we'll sort of do a quick whiz through. Chloe, if you're still online, do you want to sort of take the first 5 points, and I can go through the last 5 to sort of go through just quickly a summary of what we can do.
Yeah, so I will just give a quick introduction about how to maximize the benefits of our membership. So firstly, I guess the most important, and also the most importantly, will be schedule a call with your relationship manager. Usually, we will assign a dedicated relationship manager for every account. So to schedule a meeting with your relationship manager will be helping you to get to know the latest trends in the market, and also she or he will help you to do the market research as well. And also for the events, and also for the events, I guess the quick trick to learn everything everything that goes going on within CBBC will be to follow on our social media channels. You will be learn everything, every event, webinars, and also the development trainings, things that going to be published on our WeChat newsletters, and as well as our own LinkedIn. And also for the other quite useful set will be our Focus magazine. We recently digitized the Focus magazine online, and there will be a useful channel for everyone to look at and also get their news or their articles or their reports to publish on there. Yeah, Charlotte.
Thank you. So yes, as I say, just following on from Chloe's point about reports, as I say, I think Robert said he's commissioning us to do some research with him, and this is something, we encourage members to be engaged with us to do so, and spread that word. And I say, I know policy, for example, has already been mentioned. It's one of the key things we hear again and again, because obviously it's one of the biggest things we have to navigate around. If you're operating in China, or your Chinese companies are coming over here, obviously policy is a new concept in some cases, so obviously we want to give that support where we can. Going on from that, as I say, we do host CBBC trade missions, so you may have seen in our news section previous events when we had the Leeds City Council go out and visit delegations from the local governments. So this is something we encourage and can facilitate for those who are interested in reaching that stage. This is something as well, is encouraging your colleagues to engage with CBBC. So Nina touched on it in her opening presentation, that sometimes, you know, it's not just the person who applied for the membership or the main contact. You know, do get your colleagues involved. You know, if you have a marketing department, we have marketing based webinars, or if you have a financial team, you know, just because you're an automotive company or a retail company, you may have different departments who need to know specific sector specific information. We have that online, and if you get in touch with our China market business advisors who cover those different sectors, they're more than happy to engage with you and give you the information you need to help you improve any relationships or any projects you're working on. So definitely encourage not just yourselves, but to get your colleagues involved. If you've joined us, you know, you should have received a welcome email with your relationship manager and the member portal, so you can share that with your colleagues. They can log into that on their end as well, and get all those reports which are on there, and videos and webinars, to sort of really make sure you've got that background knowledge to share across your organisation. As I say, sharing your news and PR with CBBC. So we have a marketing team. If you've done some research on your end, or if you're launching a project. So for example, we have a member success stories, which actually Chloe works on a lot, and we can share those stories with our network to talk about what you're doing. So we're happy to share information across the network. That's what we are aimed to do. And finally, just to summarize and finalize on that, it do provide us with feedback. You know, if there are things you would like to see more of us helping with, we need to know. You know, we know what we are good at, but sometimes we don't know what we're not good at, and we want to hear from you to give you the best experience you can get. So do feel free to give us that information, say what you need from us, and we will work for a way to get what you need. So I just want to end up on that to say, you know, engage, make the most of your membership, engage with us, we'll engage with you. We want to support you, but obviously we need your information and feedback to help us do that most effectively. Thank you. We can move on to the next slide, please. So this is just a quick, I'll just whiz through this. You can see some of the comments we've had from previous members, I say, showing an array of our industries and who we represent. So we've got the power stations, and we've got the banks, and we've got the retail sector. So you can see we have such an array of members like today who represent so much, and you know, we do different things we try and have a bespoke package depending on where you're coming from. So you can see some of the support. So as I say, I'm just conscious of time, so we can move on to the next one, please. Right, so we can open up the session now if everyone wants to sort of has any questions or talk about what we said so far, or what one of the other members or Nina has said. Any questions about other services we offer? Please feel free to ask any questions or expand on something you may have said previously.
Just a comment from me, really. I think actually this event has been really useful for me, because normally the kinds of events that I go to through the CBBC are those ones focused more on higher education contacts, which obviously is, you know, one of the main areas that I'm involved in. But I can already see some potentially useful links in some of the new members who've spoken today, so I'll certainly be dropping a couple of emails around after today.
Okay, thank you very much. If anyone's got any comments to say, if they want to expand on something they said in their presentation, following what other people have said, or to say any questions to us from CBBC, you've got a couple of representatives, as I mentioned, Kathy, Adrian, myself, or Chloe.
Hi, so I just had a question. I know it's been touched on in a couple of presentations, and it's a bit of the elephant in the room, but you know, I think we're probably, everybody who's looking and doing business with China is a bit concerned by the kind of high level discussions that are going on at the moment. And I did see an email that came from you guys the other day stating the CBBC's position. So you know, I think obviously I know that makes life for yourselves maybe difficult as well, but it would just be helpful to understand the role that the CBBC plays with respect to government in terms of this, and you know, how you can influence those discussions, I guess. Is that something that you're able to expand on?
I can take that, Charlotte. It's Adrian here, Robert.
Hi, and sorry, I missed the first few minutes of the call as well. And sorry if you've gone over this already.
No, so I went over it a little bit. I mean, obviously there's a lot of political noise out there. We can't deny that. And what I said earlier was that CBBC will remain a steadfast advocate of the UK's economic ties with China. As you may have seen from the communication that has come out recently, we commissioned Cambridge Econometrics to produce a report which showed the impact of the UK economy and British jobs on our trade and investment ties with China. And that report has also been sent to the media, to governments, etc. I mean, we are not a lobbying organization as such, right. Although we are investing in our advocacy capabilities. So we feel very strongly that that we need to play our role to make sure that a constructive dialogue between China and the UK goes on, and we certainly doing things behind the scenes. And this report has been one way of continuing to put kind of economic ties with China and the UK high on the agenda. I mean, we have strong links with both the UK and China governments, so we have the right contacts. So we are seriously hoping that this report will play an important role in getting some of those key messages across.
Do you have any feel for, so, you know, again, as we've said, a lot of this is kind of high level political posturing. We are small businesses doing, you know, wanting to and doing trade directly with other Chinese businesses of varying sizes. Do you have any feedback or impression from businesses in China, whether this bigger picture is having any impact on their willingness, or they are feeling a bit like us that this is, you know, a separate conversation, and they're still focused on doing business with businesses in the UK?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think it's arguably a little bit. I mean, it's a little bit too early, I would say. I mean, this was obviously a recent announcement. I mean, if I take us back to kind of the end of 2019, I think. I mean, it's important to recognize that China is our third largest trading partner, and we've, I mean, us and other partners, and British businesses, I mean, we've all worked collectively on making that happen, and we can't just step away from that. So, I mean, we haven't yet seen, let's say, businesses being greatly concerned. I mean, if I look back at some of the kind of other kind of challenges that's happened in the past, I mean, trade has always continued. I mean, you could argue that this is a slightly different situation. Obviously, there's the US-China trade war, etc. But I mean, to answer your questions, I mean, yes, businesses are starting to ask questions, rightly so. But we haven't seen anything in a lot of detail yet that let's say greatly concerns us at this stage.
Okay, Okay, good. Thanks. Sorry to put you on the spot, but it's good to hear.
No, that's okay.
You know, your perspective on it. You're as close to the situation as any of us. So thank you.
Great, no, thank you for that. I don't know if anyone's got any more questions. We are sort of drawing to a close, so sort of speak now or forever hold your peace, as it were. As you say, you can always email us afterwards. You've got our emails, and you've certainly got mine, so I'm happy to field any questions if time doesn't allow for it. But as I say, if no one has any further questions, I'm happy to bring this to close. But I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you to Nina. Really appreciated your presentation. It's excellent and really interesting to hear from the education sector. You can see, you know, we've got a huge education sector representation, but as I say, we've got a diverse representation of members. So, you know, there's areas for everyone to sort of find common ground. Chloe will just sort of follow up finally with some events we've got coming up. So if Chloe wants to take over for the final part.
Right, so I will just give a bit introduction of the events that are going to happening in mostly in China. But there's also another, I guess there's another portal on our website which mainly introduce that what's going on in UK. So please go look it up in our on our website. So for China side, we will have our British business briefing. Hopefully that can be held on 29th July in Shanghai. And for Beijing's offline event, we will try to do that as soon as the government has allowed us to do the offline event. And also for the 17th September, we will have a fintech investment post COVID-19 event. And also for the 29th October, we will partnership with British Chamber of Commerce Shanghai to do the Best British Awards Gala dinner. So I guess that's all from my side.
Thank you. No, thank you everyone, and we'll bring that to a close, but we appreciate time. And as I say, any questions, there's our email. Do get in touch, and we'd be more than happy to follow up necessarily. It's okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.